Something has been seriously off in the crypto market recently. There's one project outperforming everything else on almost every metric you can think of except for market cap. So what if I told you that Solana is 5 times undervalued compared to Ethereum? Would you think it's hopium or just hard facts? Because especially with spot Solana ETFs hitting the markets soon, on the cusp of being approved in the US, the setup for Solana looks absolutely explosive. So let's talk about exactly why Solana could be the most mispriced asset right now out of the top crypto coins, and why October could be a massive moment for Solana. So look, let's start off the facts because the data doesn't lie. In Q2 this year alone, Solana generated $271 million in network revenue, topping every other layer 1 and layer 2 blockchain for the third consecutive quarter. That's not just impressive, that's a dominance that you can't ignore. And it's not just revenue. In July and June, Solana matched the combined monthly active addresses of all other major layer 1 and layer 2 chains. Think about it. One network keeping pace with everyone else combined. That's crazy, as well as leading in transactions and leading in fees captured. Then on the stablecoin front, Solana just keeps getting better and better. Since the approval of the Genius Act, Solana's stablecoin supply has absolutely exploded, jumping by 40% in just 3 months, reaching around $13.9 billion, with $3 billion added in just the last 30 days alone. Ethereum, of course, still holds the lead in absolute terms, but its growth over the same period was much lower at only 8%. Solana is winning the growth race, and that's the metric that matters for adoption and when trying to find an underpriced asset. Real-world usage is continuing, transactions are continuing, real-world assets on chain are moving more and more onto Solana. But here's the context that makes things really striking. Solana is still early. Solana's market cap at time of recording sits around $130 billion. Well, Ethereum's comes in around $560 billion. Ethereum has 21 ETFs, 16 public companies holding Ethereum on the balance sheets. Yet Solana leads in all metrics that actually matter for internet capital markets. Fastest transaction speeds, most transactions for things like users, transactions, fees. It has the lowest cost and highest application revenue, most trading volume, most tokens issued, most USDC stablecoin transfers. You put it all together, and it feels obvious to me that Solana is like 5x undervalued compared to Ethereum. Really, think about it. The adoption, the efficiency, the growing stablecoin ecosystem, it's all there. It's one of the reasons why Solana is one of my biggest personal positions. Link down below, of course, is always for portfolio disclosures. The only thing missing, of course, is the institutional layer. And that is exactly what is coming next, which is exactly why Solana's network isn't just growing. It is currently evolving into something that is much more sustainable. Before we get into that piece of the puzzle, question for you. Will you keep settling for less, or will you take control of your trading and make the switch to an exchange that's going to respect your privacy and give you insane bonuses? Well, FEMX is the OG exchange that delivers what traders need. Deep liquidity, respect for your privacy, and global access means to be able to anyone, anywhere. That's you. You might need a VPN in some cases. The offer on the table right now is outrageous. Make your first deposit of $5,000 or more, and they're going to give you $1,000 cash back. That is an insane offer. Crazy. And if that wasn't enough, this month, new and existing users joining through my link right down here can unlock up to 1 Ethereum in trading rewards. It's, of course, well over $4,000 at current prices. Will you make the switch today to an exchange that actually is going to pay you to trade? Sign up now, claim the deal while it lasts. Link down below. So, okay, look, back to this topic of a more sustainable future for Solana. The days of wild meme coin frenzies dominating DEX activity have been fading, although pump fun, of course, is still very relevant. Back in late 2024 and early 2025, meme coins accounted for over 60% of all Solana decentralized exchange trading volume, pushing trading volumes to nearly double Ethereum's at the time. But those days are unsustainable. Scandals, rug pulls, token collapses. This was the days of Libra and the Trump coin and all that kind of bullshit drove confidence down in the blockchain overall. By September 2025, meme coins had fallen to just under 30% of DEX activity. And here's where it gets exciting. Stablecoins are taking center stage. Swaps between Solana and stablecoins now make up 58% of the DEX volume, with direct stablecoin to stablecoin trades adding another 4%. This shift tells a bigger story that Solana is maturing from a more speculative playground into a network more focused on and built for real financial activity. That's exactly the type of foundation that Wall Street is looking for, which is one of the reasons why we've seen Stocks taking off in a big way over on Solana as well. Speaking of Wall Street, Bitwise CIO Matt Hugin recently called Solana the new Wall Street, praising its speed, its throughput, and its finality as exactly what institutional investors want for stablecoins and for stuff like tokenized real-world assets, which again are absolutely exploding on Solana right now. Settlement times have dropped from 400 microseconds down to 150 microseconds, which is redonkulously fast, making the network, of course, highly attractive for institutional trading, for hedging, and for ETF-ready products. It's not just hype anymore, it's real adoption. Solana is making it real. And that's why Solana's undervaluation feels so wild, because on basically every metric, it's winning. Now, Ethereum may still dominate in some absolute numbers, like total value locked on chain, total stablecoin volume, sure, but Solana is growing faster, more efficiently, and with a foundation that's built to scale. When the broader market catches up, especially with ETFs and institutional access on the horizon, the potential upside feels absolutely massive. But here's the part that could really, really change the game for Solana. A wave of spot ETFs are coming. The SEC has a final approval deadline for October 10th, which how this all is going to work remains to be seen, because the SEC is partially shut down, but they also asked all the ETF issuers to withdraw their applications and go back through a generic listing process. It's a bit complicated. Nobody really seems to have a definitive answer, so just keep that in mind. Regardless, it seems like we'll be getting Solana ETFs very, very soon. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Bloomberg senior ETF analysts still give basic 100% approval odds for Solana ETFs. Polymarket basically at 99% confidence of an ETF approval for Solana in the very near future. So it's no longer a case of if, but when. Once approved, institutional flows, retail access through brokerage accounts, retirement accounts, all that kind of stuff starts happening, and a new layer of liquidity will hit the market. Think about what Ethereum has achieved with its ETFs. Billions and billions of dollars of inflows have recently helped push ETH to a much long-awaited all-time high. Solana even comes with a competitive edge over Ethereum ETFs, which is staking from day one and shorter on staking periods. Plus, we don't have $10 billion in ETF overhang from Grayscale. It'll be a much smaller impact from existing products. And it doesn't stop there. Solana CME futures launched back in March of this year, and options are set for October 13th, meaning that market makers can now hedge, arbitrage, and provide tight spreads from day one, which is all very good for a healthy market. Ethereum had to build this kind of infrastructure over years, and Solana is going to be doing it in just, well, a matter of months. So this is all really good. Now let's talk about price. According to Bitwise's Solana report from January, Solana had at the time 7 million daily active addresses at $108 billion market cap. Now, using Metcalfe's law, they modeled three 2030 scenarios: a bear case price around $2,319, a base case of around $4,026, and a bull case of $6,637 per Solana. Even the bear case is 10x the price of Solana that we see today. That's crazy. Can you hold for another 5 years? Most of you probably won't be able to. Bitwise's model accounts for supply dynamics, transaction fees, and conservative adoption growth, yet still shows massive upside. For the near term, Matt Hugin says, all the ingredients are there for an epic end-of-year run for Solana. The signals to watch for are actually pretty simple. Keep an eye on whether ETF inflows show steady demand once approved, whether CME futures and CME options activity are actually going to add real liquidity, and whether on-chain metrics like active users, transaction fees, stablecoin settlement volumes, stablecoin TVL, developer growth, all that kind of stuff remains strong, because it has remained super strong for a very, very long time, okay? Whether RWAs keep growing on chain, stuff like this, right? And of course, if we see digital asset treasury companies continuing to buy, which they have been continuing. If all of these indicators keep moving in the right direction, the case for Solana to outperform Ethereum becomes a lot more convincing. With a smaller market cap than BTC or ETH, it won't take billions and billions of fresh inflows to move the price dramatically. Solana right now is performing a major cup and handle pattern on monthly chart 2, with the 1.618 Fibonacci level currently sitting around $425. Short-term targets are 242, 52, 54, and 262, with a move above 245, opening the path towards the previous all-time high at 293. But 425, let's say approximately that region, 425 to 450, remains the key target for the end of the year. Okay, once you break over the previous all-time high, the sky is the limit though, so you better be prepared. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.